What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when the live stream pops for your jobs. Appreciate y'all coming back. Also, share out as well. Getting this out to as many people as possible. The channel, the video series, and the video itself does a lot, and we appreciate it. And it's still the dead time of the offseason. As much as training camp is getting closer, it's still a dead time, so not many people are interacting with NFL content. So we appreciate you guys and, the ones who are new and the ones who have been loyal supporting us as long as we've been around. So another Roster Bubble Series video. What I do with these videos is I take a player that's on the cusp of being cut. I talk about their background. I go into their competition, how they could win a spot on the roster, how they could lose a spot on the roster, and then a prediction in the end. So today's profile is Zyon Gilbert. He is a second-year man out of Florida Atlantic University. He is 24 years old, 6 foot, 193. He is a corner. And just some background on him. I'm going to reference college stats because obviously last year he didn't get a ton of playing time when with the New York Giants. So I don't have any coverage stats, of course, for college, but when we get to his 2022 season, I do. So in terms of Florida Atlantic, he was 5 years there, so that was still part of the process where COVID came in and, certain guys could actually use the extra year because of COVID, and it seems that Zyon Gilbert took advantage of that. In his last season with Florida Atlantic in 2021, he had 2 interceptions, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and 50 tackles total with 10 pass deflections. The year before that, half a tackle for a loss, total of 46 tackles, 1 interception, 5 pass deflections. And then the years before that, 2 interceptions, 48 tackles, 8 pass deflections the year before that, 51 total tackles, 2 pass deflections the year before that, 2.5 tackles for loss, 52 total tackles, and 1 pass deflection. So he had a lot of experience coming in to the New York Giants last year. So let's do the math real quickly. He played a total of about 57 games in college, which a lot of guys don't really get to do that. And yeah, he was in a lower conference, but experience is experience, right? Especially when you're going to the NFL and, you're staying in one position. You know it better than others. And you've played at that position in one spot, whether it's college or the NFL, longer than others. But anyway, came into the NFL last year, competed with a lot of different corners for a backup role on the New York Giants. Didn't make the roster. I believe he made the practice squad first time around. He was competing with guys like Darren Evans, Elijah Griffin, Nate Meters. There's a couple other guys in there that you can factor in. But he did get 3 games under his belt. 32% of those 32% of the snaps in those 3 games on special teams, 35% of the snaps in those 3 games on defense, and he actually started a game. One of them, I believe, was actually in the slot against the Washington football team, the game I was at and the game the New York Giants tied. Darnay Holmes apparently had some sort of an injury that game, which left him out. So total, he had 1 sack, 14 total tackles, 1 quarterback hit, and a tackle for a loss. In coverage, was not very good. Gave up a completion percentage of 87.5. That's 7 of 8, if you guys haven't done the math on that one. 73 yards, 1 touchdown given up, and 144.3 pass rating. If you guys want to know where that touchdown came from, that was the Jahan Dotson touchdown where he beat Gilbert in the slot, and he just kept evading tackles like nobody's business. So 3 games, 1 started, gave up a touchdown, all that sort of stuff that I just went over for Zyon Gilbert. And coming in, he's got pretty stiff competition, not going to lie to you guys. Coming from 2 areas, all in the cornerback area. So obviously special teams comes in as a factor. Now, I'm not going to pick out which players are specifically good for special teams. No. I'm not going to do that because he's not a punt returner. He's not a kick returner. He's a special teams player. But also when it comes to corner, he's competing with these guys. Jamon Green, UDFA out of Michigan. Amani Aurier, who we actually did a profile on a few days ago. If you want to learn more about him and my prediction in terms of him making the roster or not, please check it out. Cordell Flott's going to make the roster, obviously. But with that being said, as I usually say, he's going to compete with Flott for the slot position or a backup slot position. Darnay Holmes, same story with him. Rodarius Williams can be applied as well. Rodarius Williams overall for a roster spot too, but Rodarius Williams can also play the slot. Aaron Robinson, same story. And Leonard Johnson, second-year man out of Duke UDFA last year who tore his Achilles. So how can Zyon Gilbert win a spot on the roster, make plays on the football? A lot of pass deflections come out of college. Did he have any in 2022 with the New York Giants? It looks like he did not, but making plays on the football, being physical in the man scheme, excel in blitz situations in college. He seemed to have a couple of good tackles for a loss. He's got speed. He definitely has speed. But one thing he needs to do is he needs to make better form tackles, and something I've noticed, and also lay off the holding penalties. Because I remember, I think it was either on him or Darren Evans, but I'm pretty sure he got a holding penalty that game, which was the preseason game against the Jets. Nate Meters had an interception, and it got taken back because of a holding penalty on Zyon Gilbert. So make better form tackles, excel in blitz situations. He had a sack last year, a pressure. He's got tons of box/blitz-like experience coming from college. Make plays on the football. How can he lose? Injury, I don't see that being a problem for him because he seems to be pretty available whenever asked. Missed tackles can't happen. The Giants need corners that can tackle. Cordell Flott definitely needs to get better at that. He's going to make the roster. Zyon Gilbert, it's not necessarily a for sure thing. So make the tackles. If not, missed tackles are going to cause him to possibly be on the practice squad or sent elsewhere. Holding penalties, just brought that one up from the Jets game, and I think he also had a few during the season as well when he played. Not ideal because the Giants, obviously would like to have as less holding penalties and defensive penalties as possible, because that got the Giants in trouble a couple of times, especially when we're talking about facing the AFC South. The Titans game when Darnay Holmes was holding Kyle Phillips a couple of times, when there was a couple of questionable calls by the referees against Jacksonville that we almost lost the game. So the Giants really don't need any of that. And falls behind in the depth chart. He's got stiff competition once again. I think he could beat out a guy like Leonard Johnson and Jamon Green. I mean, I got to do more look into Green. But Oruwariye definitely has the experience. So does Darnay Holmes. Rodarius Williams, I mean, that's also stiff competition for Zyon Gilbert, and Cordell Flott's going to make the roster either way. Aaron Robinson, we'll see what happens with him. But either way, those two are competing for two different areas, which is equivalent to the same, a slot cornerback role and a spot on the roster. Overall, I have Zyon Gilbert being cut. I don't think he makes the roster. I think there's way too many corners that have better experience, that have better production in the NFL. And Gilbert, I think he could make the practice squad because I think he does fit this defensive scheme in terms of, trying to get to the quarterback and all these different things that Don Martindale does. It seems like that Zyon Gilbert does that well, but he needs to get better with tackling. And once again, just a loaded room overall. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when live stream pops your jobs. Appreciate y'all coming back. We're doing one of these every day until the middle of training camp, so stay tuned. Giants coverage, a lot of stuff coming your way. Peace out, guys. See you later, and stay cool.